another edition of the Mark and Mitch Show. It's been a while, Mitch. I'm glad we're back doing this. I've missed doing them. So how you been?
Good. And I miss doing them too, but we have been exceptionally busy. You have been editing heavy Montreal interviews since August.
Yeah,
And
they're finally all done. They're
they're
posted
finally
on
all
my
done.
YouTube page and on the podcast. Wow, what a great event that was this past summer.
Yeah, it really was. And listen, I've been busy also. I've had Paul Stanley on, I've had Steve Harris on, Ace Frehley, it's been Alice Cooper. It's been A-listers. It's been a 12-year-old's dream come true. It only took 40 years to realize, but here we are, right?
Yeah, you are killing it with the guests, man. I'm impressed with the A-listers, all
great,
all of them.
Great guests. It's amazing how once you get into a pattern and a publicist will say, well, who did you interview recently? And you go, oh, well, Paul Stanley and Steve Harris. And they go, oh, well, I want to, and it's this weird snowball effect. But listen, I'm not going to complain.
Right.
Certainly not going to complain.
Awesome.
But we're here to talk Kiss, End of the Road. And early November here, the tickets just went on sale. I had a chance to speak to the folks in Montreal. The show at the Bell Center in March 19th, is officially sold out.
Wow. I don't know if the Garden is sold out yet. I'm assuming it probably is. Mm-hmm. I was unable to afford or get good seats. So right. I still bought, I'm in like the upper balcony. And I have to tell you, they were, for seats that really aren't that great, they were very expensive. And the seats up front, they are getting top dollar for those seats. So good for them. There is a big demand for this. Yep. I know there were a lot of naysayers that said, well, if they don't get Ace and Peter to come back or Ace back to do this, the tour's not going to do good. I'm not interested. Well, if there are certain people that aren't interested, I don't think Kiss is very concerned because they are selling really well. I did notice in some of the secondary markets, there are still seats available for some of the shows, but in general, all shows selling well or sold out.
Yeah, most shows are sold out. I mean, in Canada, there's a city called Ottawa. It hasn't sold out, but Ottawa doesn't sell out its hockey team. I mean, when you don't sell out hockey in Canada, you know there's something wrong with the market. I mean, the Senators even had to remove seats from the arena to make it look more full.
Wow.
So that one's not selling as well as it should be. By the time we get to March, I assume it'll be sold out like all the other ones. And good for Kiss. And the promise of doing 25 songs, meaning that they're going to have to pick 5 or 10 more that haven't been in the regular set list, is very exciting. There is some they entice a little bit with Ace might show up, an older member may appear. You don't want to miss that show where Bruce Kulick comes out. You don't want to be at the one who's sitting at home and go, oh, really? Ace showed up last night? But that said, the tickets are being sold on their own merit. People just want to say goodbye.
Yeah. And do you believe, I mean, we heard Paul Stanley say, once we play your city, it's done. But yet we've also heard that this is going to be a 2 to 3 year tour, which to me, I mean, like, for example, I live in New Jersey, so they're playing New York City at Madison Square Garden. Do they then come back around in the summer, you think, and play like the outdoor sheds in central New Jersey? I would imagine yes. Maybe they don't go back to Manhattan and play the Garden ever again, but I would think they're going to come back through the area. I'm hoping. I want to see them come back through the area.
You see, for most cities like Montreal, Ottawa, Quebec, and whatever else, I buy it. For Madison Square Garden, I don't. I can't imagine Kiss's final show is not the Garden.
Right.
And if it is not the Garden, then that would almost be a disappointment because that's the Holy Grail. That's their city. That has to be, whether it's in 2020, 21, or 22, that has to be the absolute final place they play. As a fan, I'm not criticizing them if they don't, but as a fan, that's sort of the, how you want to see it end. That's the mythical kind of ending, the Hollywood ending.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it would make total sense. But we'll see. I just think that we're gonna get Kiss hopefully a couple more times in my area, in your area, in everyone's area before this is all over, because I don't know, the promise of a 2 to 3 year tour, and now we're getting these dates that are coming out, but him saying, well, we're only playing each city one time and that's it. I don't know, threw me off a little bit, but yeah. What else?
Yeah, and listen, and we'll just last thought on that last show. It has to be one where everybody comes out and does something. You have to have Peter come do Beth. You have to have Ace do whatever, New York
Right.
Brew. You have to have Anton Fink drum on "I Was Made for Loving You." You have to have Bob. I mean,
That would be fun.
the last show has to be at Madison Square Garden, and it has to be like 7 people rotating in and out doing the history. That
would be great.
Anyway, we'll see. Listen, if they don't do that, I'm not going to complain, but that would be the fans geek #1 kind of thing.
Right.
Don't end it on the Kiss cruise.
And what else is going on in Kiss news that has piqued your interest of lately?
Honestly, it's the Bruce Kulick band with Brent Fitz and Todd Kearns. They just played the cruise. They did King of the Mountain, Sword and Stone, Thou Shalt Not. Just these incredible songs that Kiss will never do. Not because they can't do them, but because when they're playing Madison Square Garden, there's a lot of fair weather fans there. Nobody's going to know Thou Shalt Not. But for the diehards, it would be great if Bruce and Todd could somehow figure out a way to either do some kind of Vegas residency where folks can show up and see these songs, open on the Kiss tour and offer these songs that there's got to be some way to get that out. And it's very exciting. I mean, they did the song "You Make Me Rock Hard." It's like,
wow,
really? You're doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. And you know what? If Kiss was doing it, you might go, oh, you're playing that instead of Parasite. Come on, let's get back to Parasite. But when you see Todd and Bruce do it, you go, oh, that's kind of cool, actually. And Sword and Stone, I mean, it never appeared on an album. It was on the Shocker soundtrack, and Bonfire recorded it. Paul Dean of Loverboy recorded it. Paul Stanley and Bruce Kulick written song, and they're doing it. And it's like, yeah, okay, I'm good. Let's tour that. Let's get that out there. Do something with that.
I did want to mention too, on a totally other note, that Vinnie Vincent is returning to the stage for the first time in 30 years with 2 dates booked in Memphis, Tennessee. Any thoughts on the Vinnie concert? Will it happen? What do you expect? I'm sure you saw the 4x Fate jam that he did. Anything you want to talk about as far as that goes?
What can we say? I mean, listen, the 4x Fate stuff was exciting. It was fun. Not to say funny, but it was fun to see him in the full makeup, even though it's not the Ank makeup. I know Kiss geeks will say it's not the real makeup. It wasn't an Ank. It was a cross, but close enough facsimile. And we know that there's probably some kind of legalities, or he just doesn't want to. Maybe there's no legalities, and he just doesn't want to poke the bear. Sometimes you just don't want to bother. It was fun to see him plugged in with the guitar. And was it perfect? No. Should rock and roll be perfect? No. Did the fans seem to have fun? Yes. To me, successful night.
Yeah, me too. I enjoyed it, and people are like, well, he didn't play any solos. Can he still play solos? At this point, who cares? It was fun to see him up there playing Lick It Up, grabbing the whammy bar, and plugged in for the first time in a long time. I'm very curious to see what goes down at these Memphis shows. I also find it to be curious that Ace Frehley, the same exact weekend, is playing in New Jersey, my home state, doing the 78 solo record in its entirety. It's a event that I am planning to go to, and I must say that I was toying with the idea of going to Memphis to see Vinnie, but once this Ace thing was announced literally in my backyard, I'm going to stick around for that instead. Let me add one thing about theory about Ace and all this. Go ahead.
On the Kiss cruise that just occurred, Tommy Thayer sang "Shock Me," which I thought was interesting because Ace Frehley was on the boat, and Kiss had just done that sort of reunion unplug thing. It was like, well, if you're going to do "Shock Me," at least have like Tommy and Ace trade off licks or something. Like it,
Right.
it just seemed sort of weird. I have nothing against Tommy doing Shock Me. I really don't care. I know fans get all up in arms. Eric Singer singing Beth, Eric Carr singing Beth, Tommy doing whatever. It's fine with me. A Kiss song's a Kiss song, and you're at a Kiss show. Used to be seeing Kiss songs.
I agree.
But it was just funny that Ace was on a boat with them, and nobody said, well, maybe he should come up and do this with us.
Did they dedicate it to him? Didn't Paul or something dedicate it to Ace Frehley? I read that. I don't know if it was true, but
the video footage I saw didn't have that little clip to it. So maybe he did. I wasn't on the boat, but even if he did dedicate it to him, it's just strange that Ace is on the boat and they don't say, at least come and play the guitar. And it was funny, but again, not a complaint. It's just interesting that they did that.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there any, as an insider, is there any thing to be read into that, okay, Vinnie books his big return to the stage after 30 years in Memphis, and then suddenly, after that happens, the same weekend, Ace Frehley is scheduled at a Kiss Expo and is doing the 78 solo record in its entirety for the first time. I couldn't help but have some kind of conspiracy in my head that this is taking away from Vinnie's thunder a little bit. Is that just my imagination, and it's a strange coincidence, or what's your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's taken away from the thunder. I mean, it's not like Vinnie was playing Jersey and then Ace went and booked the venue next door. I mean, most Kiss fans aren't going to hop in a plane in Chicago and fly down to Memphis or fly to New Jersey. They're going to go see what's local.
Right. Okay.
So no, I mean, I think if they were both playing Boston the same night, you might go, really? You couldn't book the next night? But it's still far enough that it's not in the backyard. So no, I don't think it's and to be speaking of conspiracy theories, when you look back in Kiss history and you saw the Bad Boys tour and then you saw what happened with the reunion tour, you almost sort of saw as Kiss was the big leagues and the Bad Boys tour was AAA ball, and Gene and Paul were sort of looking like, can they play? Can we bother? Like, as if they were like in training camp. I'm getting a sense that all these different things with Vinnie and the Bruce Kulick band and Ace are almost like training camp to see if those guys have the chops to come up to the big stage, to come up to Madison Square Garden. So is it training camp? Is it AAA ball? I don't know, but I just get a sense that there's a lot of activity at the same time just before a major tour is going to start that is supposed to maybe have some members. And I think they're sort of sussing stuff out and checking stuff out and going, yep, he can do it. He's not ready. Yep, he's ready. I don't know. Is it training camp? Do you think is it the Bad Boys tour part 2?
It could be. I love just the fact that Ace seems to be on great terms with Paul and Gene again, and I for one would love to see him appear at some of these upcoming Kiss shows. But on the flip side, I'm also just as excited to go to the shows with the current lineup and see them for one last time. It's going to be great.
Yeah, and say goodbye.
Yeah.
I mean, just,
say goodbye. Yeah. Paul Stanley.
At some point, you don't know what you got till it's gone, right? And
right.
and when we're in 2027 and we've all gotten 10 years older and we're sitting there going, I got no Alice Cooper to go see, and Metallica retired last year, and at some point you're going to go, maybe I shouldn't have been such a dick and complain all the time. Maybe I should have just said, hey guys, thanks for still being there.
Yeah.
And hopefully the naysayers will start feeling that remorse 2, 3, 5 years down the line when they don't have their bands anymore. Because we're down to like the last 10 years of Cooper, Maiden, Metal. I mean, time is running out.
Yep, I agree.
So
it truly is the end of the road. Truly is.
Yeah. So stop bitching. Just go enjoy the show. Whoever your band is, even Bon Jovi or Def Leppard, just go enjoy it. Stop bitching. We're running out of time.
I think that's a great place to end it, Mitch, and I agree 100%. Cool. We're going to do another one of these guys real soon, so stay tuned to Mitch's YouTube channel and my YouTube channel. What's your YouTube, Mitch?
That's a good question. It's I
search
called
Mitch
it
Lafon, right?
I called it Angel of Ace, but
okay.
just Google Mitch Lafon. It shows up right away, and plus, follow the socials, Twitter,
Yeah.
Facebook. Whenever one of these videos appears, I will put the link up, and then you can just click on over.
And check out Mitch's podcast, Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon, on
Yes.
the Westwood One podcasting network, right?
Yeah.
And
I want to add to that just real
Go ahead.
quick. They have been very, very aggressive in moving their platform and their shows forward, whether it's mine or Jericho, whoever else, Spotify, Amazon Alexa, Google Play, Apple Podcast, Player FM, TuneIn. They have, I mean, for me to be on Spotify, it's like, oh,
yeah,
I don't know why that makes it more legitimate, because it was legitimate before. But when I go onto Spotify and I see my face, I'm like, wow, okay, this
Yep.
is real.
yeah.
And no offense to Google Play or Amazon Alexa, but I don't know, Spotify seems cool.
It's a big platform. Yeah, definitely. And it's awesome that they
So-
have been.
Yeah, so good
including
good
more
for
podcasts.
Westwood One. Yeah, good for Westwood One for being aggressive and getting shows out there and stuff. So there you go.
Cool. And you can check me out on talkingrock.net. Talking Metal, the podcast, is on most of your podcast platforms, including iTunes and Spotify. And we have a great company working with us, Art19, so you can check us out on that website too. And I guess that'll do it for now. We'll be back with another one of these real soon.